I am so pleased to announce, not that I'm the one announcing it, but, you know, to talk about that Jim Ryan has announced that PlayStation has backtracked on their stance on, or their decision to close the PS3 and PS Vita store. The PSP store, which you could only access through the PS3 anymore anyway, is still closing in July as expected, but the PS Vita and PS3 stores will remain online. You will still be able to download your games, play your games, your DLC only games, and you'll still be able to purchase new games, which is really exciting. A lot of people kept calling it backpedaling and stuff, but realistically, like, how can someone win if that's how you're going to describe it? Like, IMO, they saw the reaction to the decision that they made and said, hey, let's not make that decision. That is the best possible outcome of something having already been set in motion. Obviously, I guess the best possible outcome would be that they didn't set it at all, and that they introduced PS1, 2, 3 games into PS Now, or a emulator for PS4 and PS5. But they have said, hey, you can kill it. We saw the result. You can keep buying them, and so on. I am nervous about this. So I want to be upfront and be like, yeah, we need to congratulate them, or, you know, applaud the correct decision. We need to react appropriately. This is the only way, you know, we're going to get them to make those decisions. But at the same time, given that they put in all the steps and all the legwork and everything else to actually make this decision in the first place, I have to wonder if this is just delaying the inevitable. Are they going to turn around and in a year or two be like, all right, the hype has died down, let's go ahead and kick it off anyway? Or as Rice suggested, maybe they just saw an influx of cash from the store of everyone buying up their games and are like, well, it's making money again, let's keep it around. I'm nervous and I guess a little cynical that they're just going to kill it off again in a year or two, and just delaying the inevitable to seem like the good guy, and then in a year or two they're going to be like, well, we can't afford to do it anymore, sorry guys, we tried our best, and that's just going to be bull. But I really think that they need to still do more to preserve the ability to play these games on newer consoles, and their current existing stance, as I covered whenever I talked about this last time, on backwards compatibility, and Jim Ryan's insistence that older PlayStation games are just ancient looking and ugly and not worth playing. They have a lot of ground to make up for their terrible stances here. And so I am cautiously optimistic. I would still go ahead and purchase your games when you can and back them up and soft mod your PlayStation 3 and all of that, because, you know, you never know how this is gonna land. Oh, also one of the reasons I felt like a little cynical that they may not be doing it for the gamers in mind is there were quite a few developers, an unknown amount, but quite a few, who were still working on PS Vita games and going to release them, and they were not given enough adequate, like, heads up or notice about this happening, to the extent that they may have had to scrap their entire game release and it never see the light of day because of this kind of thing. Because on top of the you know, the store closing and all of that, there were also limiting at what point people could get, or developers could get licenses to actually sell their game on the store, and so, or even in physical copy. And so there's a lot involved there with the developers, that they may have listened to the developers saying, hey, we still have all these games in play, and maybe sent some sort of internal memo saying, okay, everyone working on X, Y, or Z, get it done, but after this point, no more projects are going to be approved, and then we're shutting it down. You never really know. There was a PlayStation Japan executive talking about playing a brand new PS Vita release right as soon as this was announced, and it looked kind of bad because that was something that a lot of people may not get access to due to that change. So I don't know that this decision was made with game preservation or the gamers in mind so much as something on the back end changed and they decided it was worth it because it's a megacorp, that's how it works. But for now, we need to applaud the net positive result that we want here, and I am stoked for it regardless.